Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 4, Episode 14. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. And if you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, Martel is putting on his Coming to America mink stole on the night of the wine tasting. Well, what is this stole? I thought it was a theme to the party. I'm like, not him in this mink stole, honey. So Marceau is making sure to introduce himself to the ladies. Marceau, back it up, okay? Louis is mingling as well. Here go Marceau. He trolling, talking about, yeah, let me get my ring out of my pocket. I don't know why I ain't got my ring on. Give it a rest. Marceau, at this point, you want attention, honey, even if it's negative. So Martel is speaking his speech, thanking them for coming out to support him and his wine, and he calls all the men up, right? But then he didn't even know what to say. So Marceau, in his confessional, he was like, I'm confused as to how Martel is so stumped. He was like, maybe, you know, this is his first time doing this without Mel. Of course. So then they show this montage of all things Mel, who was the brains behind the operation. And I told y'all before, it was giving very much Pinky and the Brain. So they say when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and he obtains favor from the Lord. She was your helpmate, weirdo, okay? And she was the one that shed a light on you no matter how you feel about her. Now, no matter how people feel about Mel, we just got to keep it real. Mel was what kept Martel looking like Martel. Nobody would care nothing about what Martel was talking about. He's standing up here giving a speech talking about some, you know, we always have drunk other people's stuff. We ride in other people's cars. We wear other people's clothes. Is your wine called FUBU or is it Inez? Is it for us, by us? Or what the hell are you talking about, Marcel? What are you saying, honey? This don't make no sense. You should have written something for Martel to say, honey, if you knew he wasn't no speaker. Like, this is just embarrassing. So Martel makes this speech, honey, making absolutely no sense. The speech was awful, okay? It was terrible. So after that, we see his uncle over there speaking to a lady. Now, I don't know who the lady was, and he was pissed that Martel did not acknowledge his grandmother and he acknowledged everyone else but him and his mom. He's like, this is my mom's wine. Like, you named it after her. I would be pissed too. Now, I know some people are divided, like, sir, if you wanted the wine to be acknowledged, you know, want your mama to be acknowledged for a wine, then make your own. No, you brought up everybody else but your family, and that is his mom. So why on earth wouldn't you bring him up? So the uncle comes outside where Hotel is, right? And Hotel trying to make small talk, but his uncle got big Debo energy. And he's like, that's my mom. And you didn't even acknowledge her. So here go Martel. He gonna whisper in his ear, we're on national TV. Don't do this on national TV. I can tell he wanted to knock Martel's block off. So he just tries to walk away, right? He's like, no, you good. So he's steady trying to walk away. Martel is following behind him. So Martel is trying to talk to Uncle Sam, and he keeps saying, you good, bro. You good. Just leave it alone. Martel said, where's the respect? Well, baby, what'd he say that for? Uncle Sam said, respect. Listen, Uncle Sam is an employee of OWN or Carlos King. Honey, he bringing a real energy. I was a little bit nervous for Martel. I was like, oh, Uncle Sam, I'm sorry. Child, I got sorry for a minute. Child, he was not about to. Uncle Sam was like, you can get your Hollywood ass whooped too. Ooh, honey. So he running behind him and whatnot, and Uncle Sam ain't having it. So Chris is over there with the guys, and he's the only one that noticed it, and he tells the other men that his uncle was mad. So Maurice, ready to defend Marty, he's like, yeah, I mean, he's doing the best that he can. There was no speech prepared. This is definitely evident, but Martel should have made sure to mention the inspiration behind the name. That's the first thing you point out. Y'all love to make excuses for Marty. Child, please. Outside, Uncle Sam going off. Okay, do you hear me? Him and Martel are going at it, honey. So they're going back and forth and back. Inside, Marceau is like, well, I mean, he could have at least invited him up and, you know, acknowledged his grandmother. So Maurice is steady making more excuses. He's like, this is his first shot. I mean, it's his first time. So Chris said, yeah, but you only get one chance to make a first impression. I know that's right. Martel should have made sure that he prepared something to say. If you're going to give a speech and if you don't know how to do it, just say thank you all for coming and get your ass and your stole down. Don't stand up there and start hemming and hawing, honey. If you're going to give a speech, at least invite your uncle up in your grandmother's honor. He talking about some national TV. You've been acting a fool on national TV for 4 consecutive years. Now you draw the line? Oh, okay. So Louis was like, well, naming the wine after the grandmother, that was enough. Louis, sit this one out. Moving forward. It's the next day. It's time to head back to Huntsville. Child, Martel can hang a suit. I ain't gonna take that from him now. That boy he know how to hang a suit. But why are you wearing this suit on this ride in this Sprinter van? What is happening? Is there somewhere they're going to drop you off a little bit later, or what's going on? Child, this is crazy. In the next scene, Louis is back home with Tiffany, and he tells us that he had a death in the family, so he left early and they're going to the funeral tomorrow. So they start talking about the trip, right? So Tiffany's asking questions about who was there, and Louis is like, Martel is single. She's like, yeah, but y'all are very much so married. He said, okay, it was a focus group. And baby, not a focus group. You can tell Louis used to be in these streets, honey. He spun that so good. Not a focus group. Oh, child. So he started hemming and hawing, honey, trying to tell her about it. And he tells her about the rage room. And she was like, so what kind of rage did you have? He said, sex. She's like, sex? What are you talking about? We're having sex. Like, do you need to see a doctor? Honey, it seems like all of them need to see somebody, because everybody on here is talking about sex every day. That is not feasible. Even if you could have sex every day, who would want to have sex every day? Maybe it's some people, honey, but please don't knock on my door every day, honey. It ain't gonna happen. So she's like, there are things that can make this happen. I mean, if I would have known that it was a problem, I would have addressed it. So they're talking about it, right? And she says that she's doing her wifely duties, and she feels like sex is her duty if she knows that her man wants sex all the time. Oh, okay. So at this point, it's a chore. Like, I understand we get busy, but I just don't think Tiffany is sexually interested in Louis anymore. Tiffany, you get bored too easily, honey. You don't need to be married. You need to just be with whoever. Whenever you want them, then you go over there. When you don't want them, then you don't go over there. Because, honey, you just get bored a little bit too easily for me. It ain't even been 2 years. In the next scene, Kimmy and Maurice, they're at the house, and she's telling him that she has been enjoying being home alone. Kimmy, please. She was like, you being gone, it was kind of therapeutic. So then she sits down with him to get the 411 on the trip. Because, honey, don't think she wasn't finna ask no questions. So while she's doing that, they go over to Tisha and Marceau, and they're also having a conversation. So he asked her if she knew Melnica. So they transition back to Maurice and Kimmy, and Maurice is telling Kimmy that Martel made it a point to tell them that Melnica was Mel 0.1 and Mel was Mel 2.0. So y'all talking about everything but what went on this trip. Honey, what did you do on the trip? So Marceau tells Tisha on the other side that it was all women there and no men. Tisha trying to play it cool, but honey, we know she burning up on the inside. Back over with Maurice and Kimmy, he's like, yeah, after we went to the strip club, here go Kimmy. Which one? Does it matter? Just know that the girls were getting naked. It don't matter where you went. Just know that the clothes were coming off. Moving forward. So he was like, it was a really popular one. Kimmy, stop it. He was like, yeah, they had great wings. She was like, oh, so you went there for the wings. So Tisha's like, on her side, why y'all always got to go to the strip club? He said, that's what you do when you in Atlanta. I don't have a problem with the strip club. It's just the activities in the club that I care about. That's what I'm worried about, honey. I mean, men will be men. If you want to go to the strip club, go to the strip club. Bring that energy home to me. Y'all get trashy and get like Martel and get to talking about, can I have you tonight? That's where I draw the line. No, you can't have her tonight, dummy. It's ironic to me, though, that Louis is really kind of sugarcoating things. Maurice is right there in the middle, and Marceau is being the most transparent. Did y'all catch that? I was like, not Marceau just telling it like it is, while Maurice kind of hemming and hawing, and Louis straight up lying, talking about focus group. So here go Marceau. Well, I like to do what I like to do. Tisha said, no, I don't know. She sure don't know, honey. She didn't even know he was down in Atlanta. Moving forward. So back over with Kimmy, she was like, I'm going to ask you a question, because I don't want y'all saying it's a 2-part question and all of that. Did you touch any of those women? He want to play. Here he go. You mean like physically touch, like on the shoulder? Like, how do you mean touch? She said, did your physical being touch their physical being? Okay, did your whatnots touch each other? That's what I want to know. He's like, no, a tap is not a touch. Okay, so see, Maurice would piss me off. Maurice, quit playing with me. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He was like, physically, yes, I did touch them, but it wasn't a caress. I'm not going to go with a caress. We didn't do no caressing. She's like, oh, okay, well, it's going to pop up on social media anyway. No, it won't, and it bet not. Okay, the cameras were there. We saw it. I don't want to see it no more, honey. We don't give a damn. I don't care nothing about that. Child, and that place was empty as hell. So nothing's going to pop up on social media, and if it does, I know it's a manufactured mess, and y'all don't put some pictures together to get us to talking. And I'm not talking. I'm just telling you now. So Kimmy is questioning Maurice like she's his mom, and then he tells her about the rage room and Louis having sexual frustration. So Kimmy said, well, Tiffany, kind of alluded to that as well when I met up with her. Maurice said, married people have less sex. That's just a fact. So then they pan over to Marcel and he's having the same conversation with Tisha. He's like, I wouldn't be in no sexless marriage. Like, I just wouldn't do it. So Tisha said, well, I'm sure Tiffany is putting it out. Girl, what does that mean? She meant putting out. Oh, Tisha, what am I going to do with you? So then Marcel goes on to say, yeah, like people keep saying Martel gave up all that just for sex. Is that important? Is it that important? Yes. Next question. Well, honey, I think Hotel would beg to differ. It really wasn't worth it. Okay, losing his 80 because now he can't even stand on his own 2 feet to give a speech about his own product. Marcel, shut up. Child, your jerk is showing. Okay, your jerk is starting to show. It is not that important. You're going to lose everything you built because you want to go lay down over here instead of working it out with your partner. I don't want to hear it. Back with Kimmy and Maurice, she's like, married people don't date like they should. So Maurice said girlfriends have more sex, period. Kimmy, listen to the things that Maurice is saying. Okay, just listen to him. Kimmy said, well, that's because we're not getting wooed. And it's a turn on when y'all do that. But I mean, waiting on you to get out of the restroom for an hour, that doesn't turn me on. Okay, let me just say this. Girlfriends have more sex because they are exciting to y'all. But once you get them, then you stop doing the things you once did. And now you're not getting the sexuals. Okay, Martel is a perfect example. He was happy sneaking around, doing what he was doing. But now that he doesn't have to sneak, he's on to the next one because it's no longer exciting. Like, please hush. Back over with Tisha and Marcel. Tisha is like, y'all don't realize wives have a lot of responsibility. So yeah, the side piece, she ain't got to do nothing but take care of you. And I agree with that. We got to take care of the kids. We got to take care of you. We got to take care of home. We have work and different responsibilities. You go over here with this heifer. She sees you what? 1 hour during your sneaky link. She lay it down on you and send you on back home. Ciao. So Tisha is saying she doesn't understand what Tiffany is going through because they don't have small kids. So she wants to hear her perspective. Of course, Marcel is like, we don't know what goes on in their home. I don't know what's going on with them, but all I'm saying is they ain't having no sex. In the next scene, Tisha goes to see my favorite TV therapist, Dr. Francis. Hey, sir. So you got your turtleneck on and whatnot. Nice to see you again. So she's going over her homework with Dr. Francis, and he pulls out a mirror so that she can figure out who she is. And she was like, oh, I looked in the mirror. And, I just realized that I have to take care of myself as well as taking care of my family. So he asked her how it affected her relationship. And she said Marcel now asked her how he can contribute to helping her to get where she needs to be. Does he? Oh, okay. So Dr. Francis said, who's saying that? I know that's right, Dr. Francis. Dr. Francis had a Portia moment. Who said that? I know that's right. That's what I was asking. So she brings up last time they were there, they talked about Marcel and his depression. She's like, yeah, he took a trip to Africa by himself. He said, now, how come he didn't take you? See, this is why I love Dr. Francis. He asks you the burning questions, the real questions that need to be asked. And she was like, because, I had to take care of things at home. No, ma'am. It's because what he was doing, allegedly, you couldn't go with him to do. Child, those kids have a grandma. Miss Wanda would have gladly came over there or take him to his mama. But all these excuses you giving, honey, it ain't giving what you thought it's giving. So she starts making excuses and she's like, well, he went to Tanzania and it really did help him. So Dr. Francis is trying to understand. He's like, so you were good with that? She said, yeah, I was upset at first because I was supposed to go with him and it was supposed to be a family trip. But then he explained why he needed to go. And so I said, okay. Marcel really got the perfect wife. He got the perfect wife for him, because Tisha can be so easily swayed. Ain't no way I would have agreed to let my husband experience a once-in-a-lifetime trip in a place like Tanzania without me. So Dr. Francis said, and you just said okay? Dr. Francis trying to remain professional so bad, child. But he really want to say, are you insane? Why would you agree to that? Dr. Francis, don't worry, honey. I'm going to say it for you. Tisha, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. Why would you agree to that? So she's like, yeah, I know he's a last-minute person. So Dr. Francis had enough. Do you hear me? He said, listen, a last-minute person isn't the same as last-minute thinking. If he says I'm going to Tanzania, it's not like I'm going to the grocery store. Please help her, Dr. Francis, because, you don't just wake up on a Monday and go to Africa. You have to plan a trip like that, especially with this panini. You had to make sure that all things were in place. You cannot just get on no plane and travel over there, honey. Did they expect you to be vaccinated? Were you supposed to have a period of waiting? Like, you sitting up here acting like, did he stay in the house for 14 days before he went? It's all types of things you had to do during that time. I ain't buying it. He's like, that was in the works for a while. It was just last minute to you. When he communicated it to you was last minute. Tisha is giving gullible, and he trying to put you up on game, Tisha. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Baby, Dr. Francis had to look directly in the camera like, this cannot be real. When he looked at that camera, y'all, I fell out. I said, baby, Dr. Francis is like, what is happening here? What is going on? So he tells her that Marcel knows that he can spring anything on her and she will do it. So he can be free to do him. Facts on facts on facts. Like, it just don't make no sense. So she was like, well, I've been trying to get him to change and, only time will tell. He's like, okay, so how long you gonna wait? And what will it cost you to wait this undefined amount of time? And child, she gonna wait from infinity to infinity. She knows what that man is doing, and she knows that that man is set in his ways. They're married, honey, so I don't understand why she's even going there if she's not going to put the plan into action. So he tells her, confrontation is the key to growth. So she was like, I just hate confrontation. Child, it must be only with him, because you have absolutely no problem being in a confrontation with any woman you come in contact with. So Dr. Francis tells her that he has an idea. He and his wife do retreats, and he wants all of them to come to the retreat. Marcel ain't going to go to that. They're going to have to make him go. Because I know he ain't going to want to go because he ain't going to want you to call him out. I feel like she needs Dr. Francis because he's like a father figure. And he also is going to push her. She needs real and raw and uncut. And that's exactly what Dr. Francis gives her each and every time. In the next scene, Hotel is at his mama's house. And he telling her about the wine tasting. So she wants to know the issue. So Martel was like, I understand Uncle Sam, but it's a time and place for everything. He has to have some control over himself. I know you not talking about control when you blew a gasket outside that house hollering all in Mel's face after you chased her down with that little recording you were doing when she was out with another guy having dinner. You are not the poster child for self-control. Child, it must run in the family. So his mama was like, well, that's his mama, Martel. So he gonna feel some kind of way. Martel was like, well, he should have calmed down after my apology. Martel, hush. He said, we're throwing something else in Huntsville, and it should be more intimate just with our family and close friends. So she asked if he had talked to Uncle Sam since then. He was like, I called him like 100 times and he didn't answer. So in his confessional, he was just basically saying, look, I'm not a speaker. I didn't do it purposely, so I don't really understand why he was mad at me. Well, even if you're not a speaker, you brought up everybody except your family. What does that have to do with you speaking? You should have brought him up as tribute to your grandmother. That's all I'm saying. So then they started reminiscing about his grandmother. And that part kind of touched me, though, because I'm extremely close to my grandmother. Now, I don't care nothing about Martel, and I don't feel nothing for Martel ever. But the fact of me thinking back about my grandmother, it just did something to me. That little part touched me. Side note, this wine looks like that Welch's grape juice that you get the kids on New Year's Eve because you don't want to give them anything alcoholic. It's giving very much juice. It's giving juicy juice. I don't know what's happening. The wine is see-through, Martel. It's see-through, honey. And here go Martel, mama. Well, what you doing is for all of us. This wine is for all of us. Well, all of us ain't gonna get none, honey, the way you drinking it. Child, she is taking that to the dome. Do you hear me? So when he said when she passed his grandmother, he wasn't even trying to try for the NFL scouts or do nothing because he was just thinking about his grandmother. So then, of course, y'all know Miss Marlene gonna speak life into this deadbeat if she don't do nothing else. She was like, well, that's because you have a good heart and you a good man. No matter what they say about you, you are a good man. I understand that this is your son, ma'am. And of course, you're going to big up your child if you don't do nothing else. But at the same time, people always caping for Martel is the reason why his behavior has not changed in 40 years. Because you have coddled him and led him to believe that he's all right. And he's not. He Martel at the end of the day. In the next scene, Mel and Kimmy meet up and they catch up and Kimmy starts telling her about the ATL trip, right? So Mel said, can I ask you a question, Kimberly? Child, not the full government name. Child, not the full government. But I'm happy she did call her Kimberly, honey, because I was wondering, girl, at your big grown age, you still talking about some Kimmy. So anyway, she said, Kimberly Scott, when your husband says he's going out of town with Martel, that don't make you feel away? Mel, stop it. Okay, please stop. Girl, okay, let me just continue. So Kimmy said, no, it doesn't. Kimmy, you a bold-faced lie, honey. You went and sat with Tisha, somebody that you said you wouldn't even be friends with when Maurice was down in the ATL. Your nerves were bad as hell, so please stop lying. She was like, if I can't trust him to go on a boys trip, then we are in a bad place. Kimmy said in her confessional, because of the situation Mel is getting out of, she thinks everybody cheats. Now, she don't think everybody cheat. She just remember that pillow talk that her and Martel had, and she knows birds of a feather flock together, especially in this group. She's speaking specifically about these men. Now, it could be said misery loves company, but at the same time, she knows, so she just trying to say something on the slick. And I'm going to tell you right here and right now, if my man told me I'm going to Atlanta with Martel Holt, I would say, no, the hell you are not. I don't trust Martel like that. And as much as we want to say, well, nobody can make your man cheat, your man should do. Listen, majority of the time, these men, not all of them, but they follow behind each other. And I don't want my man out with nobody like Martel. Point blank and the period. So she's like, everybody ain't cheating, Mel. That's true. Everybody is not cheating. But I'm sure she's saying that for a reason. So Kimmy is telling her Martel is starting to whine. And she was like, oh, I didn't know nothing about that. I mean, I heard about it, but I just didn't know, the details. And how his uncle was there and he felt away because he felt like Martel didn't give his mother her flowers. So Mel is like, it probably was Uncle Sam. And he's usually pretty cool, so I just don't understand. So Kimmy is like, well, he left. Kimmy, why you telling all this business? Kimmy is a little bone carrier this season, child. So then she was like, I can see both sides. This is what Kimmy's saying. So Mel asked, who was the planner? And she told her, Melnica. So Mel is like, okay, funny thing. I actually know her. She's been friends with Martel since like middle school, and she was our wedding planner, and she quit 2 weeks before the wedding, and we had to hire her mother-in-law, and I had paid deposits and everything, and I never got my money back for that. So then Kimmy was like, why? So Mel said, well, we were on a 3-way call, and she decided to blast Martel. She said Mel 1.0 told her that Martel be cheating and tried to talk to her assistant. Okay, now I'm going to just lay this right here. I don't know why everybody wants Tisha to ditch her man with no proof, but y'all literally got married after she gave you a heads up. But quiet as it's kept, this is what I feel. I feel like Melnica was trying to stop the wedding out of hate. Because quiet as kept to me, I feel like maybe she had some feelings for Martel. I don't think she was trying to help Mel. No, I don't. I absolutely do not. I think she saw the wedding was nearing and she decided, well, let me just drop this bomb. Because why you going to wait till 2 weeks before my wedding? You were already planning it. So it's giving me, I thought it would have been me. It's giving that. Because her and that belt ain't fooling me. I'm just saying. So Mel was like, well, I was 22 at the time and I didn't believe her. I believed Martel. But now at 36, I would believe her. Oh, okay. Well, at 22, you didn't believe her and you still got married to that man. So I don't want to hear nothing else about Tisha sticking beside her man, honey. Let's get off the ride, okay? The ride has stopped. Let's all get off. Case closed. And that was the end of the episode. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this tea that has to do with Mel 1.0. Quite frankly, I personally think it was not to help Mel see the light. It was because you didn't want somebody you've been pining away for, allegedly, to get married. And I ain't changing it. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.